Hey there, Beth Riebenstorff here with our July 2021 market update for real estate in the Phoenix metro area. Let's start with 5 market realities that are causing buyer fatigue. First, appreciation at 14.6% the past year. Second is, no surprise, record low inventory. We've known that for a while. Third is multiple offers and a record high percentage of sales over the list price. Fourth is record low days on market. And fifth is the historically low mortgage rates. Last year, the average 30-year fixed rate hit a low 16 times. While these realities are great for sellers, buyers, well, they're experiencing fatigue and deciding to step away from home hunting. And we can see this in the latest showing time data where the number of showings are starting to trickle down. We're still very much in a seller's market, as this view going all the way back to 1999 shows where things are currently and how it compares historically. So while it's still a seller's market, we are seeing a bit of a turn in the days on market, which if it continues, we would expect to see some other changes, such as the number of multiple offers reducing and the amounts over list price reducing. The latest data, this comes from CoreLogic, shows the average gain in equity on a mortgaged home over the past year is $33,400. The average amount of equity on a home with mortgage is $216,000. 38.2% of the homes in this country, well, they're owned free and clear. And we know that almost 20% is the equity growth over the past year. So tremendous equity in homes across the country. And the latest NAR update shows that at the beginning of this year, inventory was relatively flat, and now it's starting to show a gain in inventory, a very welcome sign for buyers. The market is still very quick, meaning inventory is not sitting long, but the days on market is also beginning to rise, which is a good indicator for buyers. Moving on to forecasts. Mortgage interest rates, well, they're projected to go up. The average from these 4 forecasters is about 3.5%. As for prices, the average of these 5 forecasters is an increase of 8.9%. Now, all of these forecasters, they raised their forecasts from the beginning of the year, which started around 5%. So they adjusted it upwards by almost 4%. The remaining 6 months, well, we may see some adjustments again, based on what happens with inventory. Recently, according to Realtor.com, we've seen 8.8% growth in month-over-month housing inventory. You can see what that looks like state by state here. With that dark blue, the state of Idaho at 28.9%, meaning more inventory. And the next darker blue, Oregon, Montana, Utah, Colorado, Minnesota, in the 15 to 20% range of more inventory from last month. And then that medium blue, states like Arizona, between 10 and 15% more inventory. Overall, in the second half of this year, sales are forecasted to increase compared to last year. 6.5 million homes sold in this country in 2020, and the forecast for this year, 2021, is close to 7 million homes. Moving on to the health of the real estate market, one of the factors that's important in assessing that, especially around the topic of a bubble, or comparing to the crash of 2008, is cash out refinances. In the first quarter of this year, there was $41 billion processed as cash out refinances. If we take the $41 billion for the first quarter and extrapolate that for the 4 quarters, that would be $164 billion cashed out compared to $320 billion during the height of the crash. Now, don't be surprised to see headlines raising alarm about cash out refinances being the highest they've been in the last 10 years, which is true. To put that into perspective, however, the first quarter, that $41 billion, well, it represents 0.8% of overall disposable personal income. That percentage back during the housing crisis, well, that was closer to 10%. So what's the forecast for appreciation? Well, this year, it's projected at almost 9%, and then a little over 5% the following year. And then the next years, 3, 4, and 5, getting into the more historically normal appreciation. And historically, appreciation runs about 3.8% per year. So, what does that mean for today's average priced home of $350,000? Well, applying the projected appreciation over the next 5 years puts projected equity growth at just over $93,000. Let's look at the Phoenix local market directly. For active listings, we're seeing it go up in all price categories in the under $300,000 range from $906 in May to $982 in June. In the $300,000 to $600,000 from $1995 in May to $2874 in June, some definite improvement. $600,000 to $1 million, up from $864 to $1189, and over $1 million in May, $913 in June, $926. And pricing for homes under $300,000, it went from $140 a square foot in 2019 to $154 in 2020 and $187 so far in 2021. For the $300,000 to $600,000 range, from $174 to $190 to $228 a square foot so far in 2021. For $600,000 to $1 million, starting out at $228 in 2019 to $243 in 2020. And $227 so far in 2021. And over $1 million, it started out at $419 a square foot. 2020 went to $442. And so far in 2021, it's up to $550 per square foot. So for buyers, we're seeing some signs of improvement, some increased inventory, some longer time on the market. So especially for fatigued buyers, it might be time for them to get back in on the house hunt. And for sellers, it's still a great time to either be a homeowner or look at selling for top dollar. As always, Beth Riebenstorff with the Rebe Homes team, where we're bringing you real estate beyond expectations. We'll talk with you next month.